What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Natty Baps. We back in the spot to make it hot type shit. Sorry, I was missed last week. I missed last week. I was at trivia. The theme was college football. My team were in 15th place and ended up getting second because your boy. But I'm back. I talked about what I thought was going to happen. I thought the Commanders would win. I wanted the Bills to win, but I ultimately picked the Chiefs. We got our Super Bowl. We got our Super Bowl. Eagles, Chiefs. Elku, whatever you show up, congrats to your team. It's still fuck Philly on this side, but this is gonna be a quicker video, as we always understand. The less games we gotta talk about. So what I want to do is a little bit different. And what I want to do is talk about what obviously for the losers what went wrong, and for the winners what went right. What a game script, what happened. My bets freaking cashed or didn't cash. I had the wrong people. I want to talk about all the stuff about what happened with this past weekend. Before we begin, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, tell a friend, tell a friend. Man, El Cool, congratulations. Well, let's start off first with the winner of the NFC title game. What went right for Philadelphia Eagles? Saquon. I texted Shabazz to give my hindsight. The key that Philadelphia needed was to run the ball with Saquon Barkley. And despite the fact that the defense was gashed, 18 plays, 70 yards, they bent but didn't break. And what happened, gratefully, with Saquon, you know, Saquon Barkley, first play from scrimmage, a 64-yard touchdown run. That's special. I told Shabazz, run Saquon, run him until he can't run anymore. And literally, and shout out to Kevin Wilde's first things first. It's like you would think after facing a team twice in the regular season, the first time the Commanders played the Eagles Thursday Night Football, Saquon went 25 carries, $150. So you're like, okay, we gotta stop him. We gotta contain Saquon. Second game, even when Jalen Hurts got out, first quarter, first half, he had 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was crazy. So you're like, damn, okay, this is the third time we're facing a team. We gotta stop the run. We gotta stop Saquon. First play from scrimmage, 64-yard touchdown run. It's kind of wild to me that the Commanders couldn't stop Saquon. And I also gotta give Jalen Hurts credit. Jalen Hurts was 20 for 28 for 265, no passing touchdowns, but they ran as a team 7 touchdowns on the ground. Three by Saquon, 2 by Jalen Hurts, and a partridge in a pear tree. It just was insane, the effectiveness that this team had running the ball. And it's kind of like Baltimore in a way where it's like it's better than Baltimore because Baltimore, yes, threw the ball effectively. Lamar Jackson might win MVP, probably his favorite to win MVP. But Jalen Hurts was never the thrower of the ball. He's never been credited. Oh, he's a passer for most of his career. That was the one part of his game that was always questionable. But he had a great passing game with A.J. Brown. He had a great passing game with A.J. Brown. Devonta Smith had some yards. Dallas Goedert breaking tackles, making plays. But again, Saquon Barkley carries that team. He's the engine that makes that team go. And it's shout out to Chris Broussard. First Things First is like the only show that I watch. I don't really watch First Take. Don't really watch Speak or any other shows. Chris Broussard said it best. Saquon Barkley, like the Eagles historically have been a good running team. Mike Vick, LaShawn McCoy. A couple years ago, Nick Foles and then Garrett Blunt, Jay Ajayi role when they won the Super Bowl. And they had DeAndre Swift. They've had running backs in the past. But putting a great offensive line and a running quarterback, Jalen Hurts, putting a rocket ship-powered running back like Saquon does damage. So at the end of the day, it's like Do what gets you there. And Kevin Wiles alluded to it too. Jalen Hurts, all he does is win. And me and Shabazz had a debate about it. It was like, how do we feel about Jalen Hurts? It's like, you can't be mad at the guy when all he does is win. He makes the crucial passes when he needs to. Yes, of course, you're not comparing him to Lamar or Allen or Mahomes or Burrow or any of the AFC quarterbacks in terms of throwing the ball. But what he has and the other ones don't, as Shabazz joins, is wins. This is the second Super Bowl of his career, second time in 3 years being in the Super Bowl. And if he wins the Super Bowl, no one cares if he has only 100 yards or 165 yards. You care if he turns the ball over, and that's what he did. That's what he hasn't done for the last 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Within the system, he's played within Saquon. Say, hey, Saquon, go carry us, and I'm gonna make the plays when it needs the most. His ACL still a little banged up. He got sacked a couple times, but he was like, if he was healthier, probably doesn't get sacked. But what went right for the Eagles? Saquon was effective. Jalen Hurts was effective. And obviously, that defense forcing 4 total turnovers. I was going to talk about what went wrong for the Commanders, but like offensively speaking, they capitalized on Commanders' mistakes, and at the same time, didn't make any mistakes of their own.
Well, what's good, YouTube? Sorry, a little late. My fault. I was talking to Shorty about some wedding stuff. We're planning wedding now, which is great. Um, super great, super great. So I will agree with what Natural said. You didn't talk about the Commanders yet.
No, that's going to be the next thing.
Gotcha, gotcha. So when we went for the Eagles, honestly, I keep it a buck with you. I was reading this book, Extreme Ownership, on Sunday, which is why I didn't watch the game. But from what I gathered, like you see the score 55, like that's eye popping. Like I think everything went right when it was supposed to. No turnovers. First play of the Philly drive, 60-yard touchdown run. That kind of sets the tone. And this entire playoff run set the tone with Saquon. Like he set the tone every game. One big run, whether in the beginning of the game to start the momentum or in the end of the game to ice it. Like Green Bay, he iced it. Against the Rams, he iced it with 2 huge running touchdowns. And against the Commanders, start off the 60-yarder, bam, 3 total touchdowns, bam, well 3 touchdowns, bang, bang, bang. Jalen Hurts with the touch butts. He does it in a way we'll talk about with Buffalo that not a lot of people could copy because Jalen Hurts is like 6 feet, 6'1", maybe 6'2".
But stocky.
Like he's brawling for sure, but you can hide him within the scrum. A guy like Josh Allen, 6'5", 6'6", who favors a side, it's hard to be like, oh, like it's easier said than done. Like there's reason why they made it because it suits Jalen's style, and everyone else can like imitation is the biggest form of flattery because like everyone tries to copy it, but not everyone can have the same level of success. But in the defense, causing 4 turnovers, like you said, having Jalen Hurts, and Twitter is good, but it's also toxic because everyone's saying there's a conversation needs to be had that Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson. But I'm like, no one's saying that, but also without giving him credit because you got to give him credit because you said it. He does whatever it needs to be done to win. And in that first Super Bowl run, kind of fluky. I'll be honest. They had the 1 seed. They played the Giants. Then they played the 49ers off like with like 3 injured. So like that first one was kind of fluky. The second one, this one right here, you play a Green Bay team who upset it, a 2 seed last year. They were kind of like stumbling into the playoffs, but they still are a playoff team. They had like 11 wins. Then you play the Rams, who won the division, and it was a dogfight, but you got it done. And you play the Commanders, where you just belt to ass on them. So this run was better than the first one because you can't discredit what they've done. That's Jalen Hurts. He had three rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown to AJ Brown. You love that. Like the whole they had prior to the Commanders loss, it was on like a 10-game winning streak with some Bengals beat them. Oh, they beat the Bengals. They beat Pittsburgh. They beat Baltimore in that stretch. And you're saying everyone who tried to discredit Jalen Hurts, yeah, sure, he didn't have like the eye popping stats. He'll never be his best chance to win MVP was that year when they made the Super Bowl, but he missed too many games, and that's why they gave it to Mahomes. If you really want to talk about it, but he might not ever win an MVP. Shit, neither did Eli Manning. The way he did in the playoffs when he got there, he made shit happen. That's something that Joe Burrow can say. He got to the Super Bowl. That's something that Lamar can't say. Lamar can't say, "Oh, I got to a Super Bowl." Now, however, comma, the road in the AFC is much tougher than the NFC because you got to battle Buffalo, you got to battle Kansas City, you got to battle to even get for at least I can only talk about in a Lamar lens. You got to get through your division, which is Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, the most physically tough division in football. So once you get through that, then you got to get to Houston or Buffalo or Kansas City to even get a chance to the Super Bowl. Versus the NFC, you got Philly, Lions, Vikings, who everyone it was a good story, but no one really believed in. Packers, same thing, and
Rams
Commanders, who were just a great story, but we'll talk about them in a couple minutes. What was wrong with them? They're just young and inexperienced with no defense.
and the Rams.
And the Rams with this young and inexperienced. And Puka and Nakua reliant. So it's kind of hard. But in terms of Philly, they did everything right. They're in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years, like you mentioned. The three-piece started with you guys, and it could possibly end with them, or they could be the ones to nip it in the bud. We'll talk about that next Wednesday as we go on. But what went wrong for the Commanders? Simple. Inexperience with rookie quarterback, which he'll get that with time, and poor defense, which with cap space and with you proving that you guys can run something, veterans and people are going to want to flock to the Commanders because you're not paying the rookie quarterback anything. So you can just overload it like a young Seattle with Russell Wilson and just pour all the resources into defense because your offense is set. Maybe fix the offensive line a little bit, but and maybe draft the running back. But other than that, like you straight, you're Gucci, you're good. And I would say, hey, I said Terry. Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC, and that wouldn't be a hot take. That would not be a hot take. So they're young, and reality, even if they beat Philly, no one in their right mind with that poor-ish offensive line would say they can beat Kansas City. Now, I love the poise of Jaden Daniels. I love the maturity of Jaden Daniels. The rushing ability, he's out there. The arm talent is it pops up on the screen. He's just young. Well, he's 24. He spent like a long time in college, but he's young. He's college old, but NFL young. But eventually, he'll get those reps and get that time. And when the team pours into it, they can easily be running the division within a year or two because Howie Roseman is one of the best, if not the best GM in football, but it's hard to keep talent when you guys are, especially with success, because that's what happened. When you're successful, they pull coaches, they pull talent away from you. As a Baltimore fan, I know coaches got pulled last year. Players got pulled last year. We couldn't pay everybody. You can't pay everybody. It's a cap space for a reason. It's a limited cap. So with Commanders, they have little leg room right now to really make some noise in the NFC. But they were just a little young in the ways, which is okay. No one gave, except for me, gave them a chance to beat Detroit. Me and Kevin Wiles. No one gave him a chance, but I did because I was like, oh, wait, you get some stops and the offense is nice. Cool. You build off of it, you parlay it, you got the moments already. De'Ami Brown's a playoff sensation. Kind of fizzled out against Philly, but that's okay.
Because of the fumble.
Fumble and all that. And that's okay. It happens. Marshawn Lattimore might have been a bad trade, but give him give him some time off of a hamstring. He'll be good. So draft, develop. Dan Quinn's a hell of a defensive mind. Cliff Kingsbury officially staying with Washington at least another year. You in there. You easily in the mix next year. You'll be favored to make it to playoffs at least. So that's what I think going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything I agree with everything you said. I think what they should do, and what I'm thinking about because I just sport peek behind the curtain. I just finished my program, my math track program.
Nice.
So I finally so like hey, like they're reviewing everything, and I'm gonna be certified soon. So with all this extra time, I want to do like what every team needs to like every team AFC NFC needs to do to reach the Super Bowl next year. And for mine, spoiler alert, peek behind the curtain for the Commanders, they need to take the Houston approach from last year. They need to get a pass rush and guys that can cover. Now, gratefully for the Texans, they had drafted Derek Stingley. He turned to an All-Pro, who was already awesome at LSU, right? So that was a situation. Okay, top 3 pick, he was going to develop. Cool. Well, Anderson, top 2 pick, he was going to develop into an All-Pro esque type of guy. Getting Daniil Hunter in free agency last year helped that offense, helped that defensive line become better. And they drafted offensive linemen as well. So they need to take the Texans approach. Hey, we got a young stud at quarterback. What can we do to provide him with the weapons, running back included? Because Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson, they're good. Would you want to maximize this time and get them a great weapon? What went wrong for the Commanders? Again, we just trying to be easy. We're not trying to be camped at easy stance here, but we have to mention it. 4 turnovers. None by Jaden Daniels. Got to give him credit for that. But again, seems like every time the Commanders were driving, every time they was about to make a play, every single time, boom, fumble. De'Ami Brown fumbles. Damn, then the Eagles go out and score. She's like, okay, all right, shit, we're down 2 possessions, but it is what it is, right? And then they drive down the field again. Fucking, who fumbled? Um, Somebody fumbled. I forgot who fumbled. Oh, they scored, and then on a kickoff return, Eagles scored. Kickoff return, McNichols fumbles. Boom. By the time Jaden gets the ball back, it's like, damn, he's down by three scores. He's like, God damn. And then the most pivotal play of the entire game, because they're despite all the turnovers, despite Saquon having a big day, Jalen Hurts being awesome, they were down 11 entering the fourth quarter. And then 30 seconds left in the third quarter, fumble ball Austin Eckler. And what happens? Eagles go down and score, put the nail in the coffin. Now they're down 18. It's like, damn. It's like Jaden Daniels, as you mentioned, had the poise, as a stud. He's old for college, but young as a rookie. He's gonna get better. But the only players for the Commanders that showed up on offense, Zach Ertz, who had like 10 catches for a buck, Terry McLaurin, who tried his best against Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean in the secondary, and then Jaden Daniels. But we mentioned it earlier, and shout out to Elku, right? Jalen Carter, like he was wilding. The offensive line for the Commanders finally gave out, and they couldn't protect Jaden Daniels to give him enough time he needed. He felt rushed. He felt urgent. And he couldn't do what he usually did, what he did against Detroit. Detroit, he was sitting back, as Stephen A would say, he called back, call his lady, order lunch, do what he got to do. Against Detroit, that was calm. But against Philly, he couldn't do all that, and he was a little rushed. With, again, experience, he's going to be fine. I think, as you mentioned, it's debatable if he's the top quarterback, but definitely in the conversation for sure. Commanders, early pick to be in the playoff next year. A lot of people's pick to maybe win the Super Bowl next year, depending on the whole NFC situation. But I like their roster. They need some tweaks and need some more veteran leadership. But they will be around for a long, long time. That's the NFC. What do you want to do first?
The Bills.
Do you want to do the Dark Empire first?
Nah, we gotta talk about Buffalo, man. We gotta talk
about Buffalo. They lose by 3. everyone's gonna mention, oh, the fourth and sixth play. Like some people on Twitter, they talk about Twitter being toxic. Some guy named Benjamin Slowick was like, oh, he had the running back or wide receiver on the flat on fourth down, but he didn't have Josh Allen literally didn't have enough time to see it and couldn't react. But two things can be true. Josh Allen made a hell of a play. It just unfortunately dropped. The second, and a lot of people aren't going to talk about it, it was kind of Josh Allen's fault that he had to make that play. Because, and we're not really an X and O show, we're opinion based, but when there's situations like this, when you have to educate the audience, you kind of have to give them a peek behind the curtain. Josh Allen called protection for for the protection the side left. They were supposed to slide right because that's where the protection, that's where all the blitz came from. Also, Steve Spagnuolo, historically, it's fourth down, ball game type situation.
You gonna set the
You're
dog?
in the house. He's blitzing the shit out of you. Sean McDermott was not prepared. Joe Brady was not prepared, and that's the difference in coaching. That's the difference between winning a game or being in the Super Bowl and losing for the fourth time in the playoffs against the same team. It's it's sad because it's like if Josh Allen makes that simple, okay, let's shift right instead of left, everything works. Now I'm not saying he completes that fourth down and fourth and six pass or fourth and five pass. He might not, but that's the game. Now what also went wrong for the Bills, and I'm gonna mention it. What the fuck, James Cook, Jimbo Cook, in a positive way, he was cooking. He was averaging 8 yards a touch. But what happens in that final 3 minutes of drive game that they had, the final drive that they had, he doesn't see the ball at all. They have 3 minutes to go down the field to score a touchdown. Field goal to tie the game, but 3 minutes to go and win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens? You lose sight of what got you there. You throw the ball four straight times. Two incomplete first, quick 5 yard out route to Amari Cooper, and then the fourth and five, fuck it, someone down there somewhere. Josh Allen was trying to lose that game at the very start. You was reading your books. I don't know if you watched the start of the game, but he had two passes that in the first four plays. He had two passes that almost were picked off.
Nuts.
Now, luckily, the Chiefs have defenders that play defense and they can't catch. That's why they play defense. But it's like Josh Allen, for all intents and purposes, was bad. Yes, his stats might say he was okay, but you're probably going to mention it. That tush push, and I'm going to let you cook on that. My biggest concern for Buffalo is they didn't let James cook, no pun intended, and they were too, and this kind of goes hand in hand, they were too heavily reliant on Josh Allen. Now, this probably was something that could have been foreseen because all season long, we were like, they have Keon Coleman and no one else really, and he was a rookie. The reason why they traded for Amari Cooper because they didn't have a receiver depth. Dawson Knox and Don Kincaid are your two tight ends. That's just great, fantastic. But this isn't the night. This isn't the early 2000s where the two tight end set is going to cook all the time. You got to have reliable receivers down the field. No shade to Matt Collins, no shade to Khalil Shakir, but they're not those guys. They're not an Xavier Worthy that you could have drafted who had a big game against you. They're not like, and that's the thing too. In Buffalo, my last point, and I'll let you cook afterwards. Buffalo for two drafts now, not two times in a row, but two draft situations, one in 2017 and one last year, had a pick, and they traded it with Kansas City. 2017, they could have drafted Patrick Mahomes, and they didn't have. This is when they had Tyrod Taylor. They didn't even have Josh Allen yet. They had Tyrod Taylor and Nathan Peterman starting in their quarterback room, and they said, you know what, we're gonna punt this season, and we're gonna draft somebody. We're gonna trade the pick and draft. Again, I think they drafted Ed Oliver, so it's not really a bad pick, but they could have had Patrick Mahomes. Last year, they needed a receiver. Xavier Worthy falls into their hands. And they say, nah, we're going to trade with our enemies again. And he has a big day. So, coaching, too relying on Josh Allen, and not letting James Jimbo cook. Those are my three reasons why I went wrong for Buffalo.
Uh, so first off, the turntables, man. Turntables. Turntables. Hey, man. Uh, Josh Allen will, at the end of this season, have two AFC Championship game appearances. Congrats. No Super Bowl, no appearance, no MVPs, no first team All Pros. And yet, the media will say, do you feel bad for Josh Allen? Versus when Lamar lost to Allen, how much fault is at Lamar? Was the season a failure? X, Y, and Z. That the narratives about the NFL is blatant, which is why me, Natural, and Matt, we haven't watched as much because it's honestly, I stopped caring. Yeah, it's entertaining for sure, but before I honestly went out of my way to see what these guys had to say, and half of them are dumb, half of them are just in their entertainment, and there's a secret half that just they don't know what they want to say. They either want to push the goalposts further for Lamar and coddle Allen, or what they want to do is just say, hey, they want to flip flop like Emmanuel Acho about, oh, Jalen Hurts is the weak link, but yeah, all he does is win in the playoffs. They don't make up their minds and they're not consistent. The only person, ironically, who stays 10 toes and stands on business is Nick Wright. And as much as a Nick Wright fan slash op slash, like, I enjoy his content because he's very smart with his takes. I just hate the takes because it's negatively geared towards Lamar. But when he's right, he's right. And when he's consistent on, I can respect it 100%. I had to get that right. But now, what went wrong for Buffalo? I watched, after the first quarter, I watched the entire game. And I will say that they had 4 fumbles that easily could have been scooped up by Kansas City, but they got blessed by the football gods. They got lucky. They caused a fumble by Mahomes. Mahomes fumbled. So it could have been a blowout. It honestly could have been 28-10. But he fumbles. And then I think it was 21-7 or whatever that time was. And then
It was
Mahomes fumbled.
21-10. Mahomes fumbled in the
And then
red
they
zone.
scored.
So, yeah.
So that's a swing. That's a huge swing in Buffalo's favor. And the same thing that happened to Baltimore last week happened to Buffalo this week. You got too aggressive when you didn't need to. If we just stayed the course and kicked extra points, you would have been Gucci. Because hindsight being 2020, you score going into halftime. That's 16-21.
Yeah, it was even 17. Yeah, they went for 2 and didn't get it.
Yeah, so they
Well, they went for 2 because they got a penalty. It was like
regardless. They made the kick, and it was okay, cool. It can go in the half down 21-17. But oh no, let's go down 3 instead of 4. Then defense locked down in the second half, especially in the third quarter. Kansas City got the ball, 3 and out. Buffalo goes and scores. No lie, I think they both exchanged punts. Then Kansas City again, 3 and out. Then Buffalo scores. But you're thinking, oh, it's 17-21 because you should have just kicked the extra point. Oh, you score a touchdown with an extra point. That's 24-21, not 22-21. Even the play design where both times you did the tush push, which doesn't work. It works when it works, but now that they know that hey, he favors the left side, either Allen got to change the mechanic and go straight, or nip it in the bud and just do a pass fake and give it to a tight end. Something got to change. I think at that point, Joe Brady got figured out. He got a little bit archaic, and he ain't switch it up. He's like, oh, we got a 6'6" behemoth of a man. He can make it happen. But Justin Reed, Chris Jones was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you look at the stats, like it's like Colin Coward said it. It's literally like they both had the ball for near 30 minutes, similar total yards. It's just a couple of plays that happened that went in Kansas City's favor, which was those 2-point conversions. Because then Kansas City scores. Okay, cool. It's 28-24. You scored again. 31-28. They kick a field goal because you had got to stop. You got to stop regardless. That's 31 up. You have the ball. 3 minutes left. You have a chance to just walk off. And you didn't do it. You got too aggressive when you didn't need to. Same thing happened to us. We got too aggressive when we didn't need to. Then that's okay. We lost off a tight end job. I called National Sunday. Elated. Because I honestly wanted Buffalo to win. Just so we don't get the 3-peat or a chance of the 3-peat and then losing the Super Bowl. Because I'm that petty. Because y'all beat us. But then I'm like, these motherfuckers lost? You motherfuckers run the ball well in the second half and don't put Cook in? At least because he's a dual back. He does both receive and catch. I mean, receive and run very well. He was covering up the Chiefs. The whole Philly takes notes like, oh, run it. They can't really stop the run, which is what I've been saying the entire year. But yet, no one thinks like the pressure of like, oh, we got to pass to beat Mahomes, which is not true. Fucking not Sneed. Trent McDuffie is one of the best, if not the best, slot corner in the game. It's hard. It's honestly hard. And we got Chris Jones, who he only had 5 sacks the entire year, right? Calvin Noah had like 12, Owe had 10, Watt had like 12, like Garrett had double digits. Like it's hard to think, okay, Chris Jones it don't show up on the stat sheet often because when Aaron Donald was playing, it showed up on the stat sheet and it showed up on film. For Chris Jones, unfortunately, it only shows up on film. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But when he is getting double teams and Spagnuolo with the one time a game or twice a game when he's up that Spagnuolo blitz, you never responded. And now everyone's coddling Josh Allen. So that's what went wrong for Buffalo. You got too aggressive, and then you didn't run the ball with James Cook, Jimbo. And he's eligible to get this bread. You probably gonna franchise tag him because that's your best running back that you've had in a while. But Amari Cooper didn't really get burned like that. You traded like a 4th round pick for him. You didn't really give him burn, but that's cool. So I think for them, they just gotta, and that defense is too small.
Yeah.
That defense is too small. They're perfect for pass games, but when you're balanced, like Kansas City, not a heavy pass game. With Tyreek and Kelsey in prime, that's what's heavy passing game. Like that's when it was going crazy. When Mahomes having 5,000 yards and all that other shit. Now he'll have 3,600, 3,700, but you got Kareem Hunt, you got Pacheco, you got Mahomes himself. Who he says in the playoffs, I'm towing this bitch. I don't care. And I'm giving you shoulders. Cram. But that's what went wrong for Buffalo. They got to retool, and they'll maybe be back. Probably not. But did you know that he is the new Phillip Rivers? And you're thinking, Shabazz, what do you mean he's the new Phillip Rivers? He is 0-4 against Mahomes in the playoffs. Phillip Rivers never beat Brady in the playoffs.
I was going to say, is he like 0-4, 0-5 against Brady?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he is
And he
the
might
new.
not win MVP, so he might have nothing. He'll have nothing.
Yeah, but everyone think he'll be a Hall of Famer because of what? Two second team All Pros and some playoff numbers, which you dominate in the wild card. You're a wild card merchant. You can't. He's never won a whole. He's never run a road playoff game, mind you. All his wins come at home, so he's a high mark stadium merchant, and he's also a wild card merchant because he's usually the 2 seed or the 3 seed, and they play the 6 or the 7, which are lower tier teams who just lucked into it. Then what? Boom.
I mean, has Lamar won a role playoff game?
Yeah, you beat Tennessee at Tennessee.
Oh, good shit. That wasn't like a shade. That was just I genuinely didn't know.
Yeah,
Good shit.
but
Word.
also in the comparison of Lamar to Josh Allen has won more games because he's played more wild card games. Lamar usually has a bye, first round bye, so you don't play those games. But they also say, hey, we got a first round bye, home field through. All you gotta do is win one game and you're in a championship game. So that is also a fair criticism. But I just want consistency. Like if you're gonna shit on Lamar for not getting it done, you gotta shit on Allen.
Yeah.
What went wrong? What went right for Kansas City?
My bad. Hold on.
Kansas City did everything right.
I was reading One Piece when I did this.
What went right, bro? They honestly did everything right, man. They besides that Mahomes fumble, they did everything right. They never scored 30 the whole season. That was a point of emphasis for Kevin Wiles. Like, oh, they never scored 30 points, yo. 32 on the bean top. Mahomes played winning ball, bruh. Like when Jalen Hurts when he plays winning ball, they discredit him. But when Mahomes does it, that's how winning is done. He is the new Brady. Yo, like you gotta give him this, you gotta give Hurts credit. You gotta give Mahomes credit. When you get it done in the playoffs, it don't matter how it looks, man. Like Lamar against Pittsburgh, he had like what 2 touchdown passes, like barely like 175 yards. Derrick Henry carried that game, and everyone's saying, "Oh, good shit, Lamar." So I just come to realize, yo, in the playoffs, bro, it don't matter. It don't matter. Brady won a Super Bowl in 2017 against the Rams.
2018.
That was the Rams one.
2017 was lost against Philly. 2018 was
Yeah.
winning against.
So boom, he won a chip with them scoring 10 points.
Yeah.
Like he made enough winning plays when it mattered the most. And then the defense stepped up when it needed to. You got the best coach of this era in Andy Reid. Now that Belichick's gone. You got the best quarterback. You got the GOAT quarterback. Well, I still think he needs some time for GOAT status, but he's definitely the best right now in Mahomes. You got one of the best rushers in Chris Jones, tail end of his prime. I mean, middle prime. Kelsey, who he didn't do much. It was a rookie. Xavier Worthy cooked. He had 100 total yards from scrimmage. You got veterans all over the place, and you got Steve Spagnuolo, who might not ever get a head coaching job, but he like, oh, I'm good right here. I'm good right here.
You stole my point, but go on, keep cooking.
Like they got stability. Brett Veach is a good GM. The owner is good. They got stability in a lot of major areas where you need it, and that's what matters. That's what matters. Sure, was that call to Xavier Worthy when the ball hit the ground questionable? Absolutely.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway because it was defensive holding.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway. So whether
that's the thing. The refs blowing out the refs. I'm like, bro, come on.
I do see. I do think there are like against Houston, the refs was wilding.
True,
but against Buffalo, like sure, two things can be true. Yes, do the refs favor the Chiefs? Absolutely. But do they make the right call? You just hate that the call was made? Yes. Did the Patriots have the ref favorite? Absolutely. Did we hate the call because it was the right call? Was it against our team going against the Patriots? Yes. So, like, as a Ravens fan, with the prime of Tom Brady and, well, granted, Billy Cundiff missing a freaking wide left, which still haunts me to this day, to get to a chip like that. But
That was
even
2011, right?
that was, and then we won the next year.
It would have been Ravens just as Giants. Holy shit! But that's neither here nor there.
You would have, boy. Oh, we would have smoked them boys. What are you talking about? Nah, I can't say that because Eli Manning was hot. He was hot that year. The script was there. The script was in. But everything went right for Kansas City. And if I wasn't petty, I'd be like, oh, Kansas City could definitely go for the three-peat. But no, because I don't want Nate Wright to have a victory parade. I want him to have like an apex moment, and then Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley just snatch the rug from right under him.
Yeah, have like a classic Saquon, like 70-yard run to ice the game. Like that would be poetic. Because also Nick Wright talked a lot of shit in the offseason. Oh, Saquon's not. He's over the hill. He's not going to do anything. The Eagles, blah, blah, blah.
I think he reneged that. He definitely reneged it.
He did, but it's there. The take is out there. That he did say that, yo, Saquon ain't going to do much in Philly. Chris Broussard, he also was a guy that stands 10 toes on takes. And he was like, yo, Saquon Barkley is going to have more than a Christian McCaffrey impact. I'll be quick with mine because Shabazz said most of the points. I'm gonna elaborate on one more point that he said: stability. All of the good teams, hell, college or pro, they're getting coordinators and coaches to leave. Ravens, Todd Monken, like not gratefully he signed his extension, but like defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators for them leaving. Joe Brady for the Bills, he's entertaining coaching talks. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn for the Lions, they're both gone. So you're like, hey, how do the Lions are going to figure things out? Saints, we just lost our offensive coordinator. So it's like, damn, when you are a new team or a team trying to become good, you're going to go get good guys, right? Bears, they hired Ben Johnson. Who's his very first hire? Dennis Allen as a defensive coordinator, because he knows being a defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen is that guy, but maybe not running the whole team. And maybe that ship fails. Who knows? But Matt Nagy, Steve Spagnuolo, Brett Veach, and of course, the man handling the whole thing, Andy Reid. Those four have been the same four for years. Matt Nagy left, yes, and then went to the Bears. The double doink happened and whatever, but he came back, and he's the offensive coordinator for Kansas City. Yeah, they had Eric Bieniemy. They've had some non-stability, but the guys that make the plays in terms of coaches and the adjustments, Spagnuolo, Andy Reid, and Brett Veach in free agency and trades. Those three guys make this Kansas City Chiefs team work. And of course, Mahomes is Mahomes. Cool. All players on the field, we know what they are. You mentioned all of them. And I just gotta say, it's like, bro, they can't keep getting away with this, but no one goes after Steve Spagnuolo. And why he wouldn't leave? Why would he leave his situation? He's regarded as probably the best
game, and it didn't work out. He was like,
I know he was a head coach back in the day, but he's like, why would no one try to get him to be a defense corner? Well, why am I going to leave a situation? Well, I know I'm not going to be that coach, but I'm just as vital as Andy Reid, and I'm winning. Why would I leave? He's won all the money. He has all the money in the world. He's doing it for the love of the game. And what makes games more fun is when you're winning. Like his adjustment, and we didn't talk about it enough, but I want to say one more thing about Buffalo. Buffalo tried to tush push, I believe, 5 times. 6 times. 6?
No, 2 for 6.
2 times out of 6, it worked. And why is that? So that means the other 4 times it didn't work. Because Steve Spagnuolo and the entire team game plan. They planned. They said, okay, we notice your tendency to go over the left guard. So what we're gonna have is Chris Jones, big ass, stop over the left guard. And he's like, oh shit, Josh Allen wasn't prepared for that. It's like a boxer or a UFC fighter doing the same shit. And it's like, okay, I watch film. I understand it now. Get clocked. Oh, you like to duck your head and then throw a left jab? When you duck your head, I'm gonna throw a left kick. Boom, knock your ass out. That's what happens in fights. That's what literally happened in the Kansas City Bills game. Give all the credit to Buffalo. They got there questionably against Baltimore. Who knows what would have happened if the Ravens played their game? Whatever, cool. But Kansas City is the gold standard. They are the standard because can't they have Mahomes, Andy Reid, Sanzanolo, Brett Veach. And one last person I want to shout out before we talk about early preview is DeAndre Hopkins. Now, he didn't have a big impact these playoffs so far, but I have a sneaky feeling he's going to have a game against Philly. I have a sneaky feeling because that's how it happens. Every Super Bowl they've had a guy that was looked, is he going to make any plays?
You talking about Hopkins? You talking about Nuke Hopkins? Like, that's crazy,
right? But like first Super Bowl was Darrell Williams, right? But it's like Kadarius Toney punt return touchdown or punt return to like the 2. Juju Smith-Schuster had some big plays in the Super Bowl as well. So it's like guys who you don't think. You say Cap, okay, Elku, get out of here, man. Get out of here, man.
We're going for Philly, man. I'm going for Philly. I know this.
Early Super Bowl preview, more in-depth analysis next Wednesday. But Chiefs are favored right now by 1.5. All I'm saying is I'm expecting shootout. I'm expecting fireworks. I got the over already booked. Bet made that happen already with Saquon anytime. I'm not going to give the keys. We're going to talk about all the keys, what the Eagles need to do to win, what the Chiefs need to do to win, all that good stuff next week. But you're leaning Philly because it's fuck Kansas City?
I am indeed. I think that for me, it's like the whole entire discourse this next week, which I'm definitely boycotting media for. Elku, man, I wish it was too, man. I wish it was the Flock versus the Dirty Birds. That's Atlanta. The Flock versus Philly, man. I wish it was, man. Maybe 1 year. But I will say I'm leaning Philly because like from 2 to 53, not a lot of teams have better rosters than Philly. But having said that one and the quarterback coach matchup is Andy Reid and Mahomes every day of the week. And that's unfair for sure because like Jalen Hurts, he does his thing in the playoffs. And in the first Super Bowl, he actually outplayed Mahomes. But Nick Sirianni, man, I don't know. Like, the one thing that I give him credit for, and I give the Eagles credit for, is that they, especially in this postseason run, they haven't shied away with who they are. They know, Jalen Hurts is going to make plays when he wants to make, or when he can make plays, but Saquon runs the show. And if it was my pick, honestly, Lamar would be the MVP because I'm a Ravens fan, but it wouldn't be Allen, and it wouldn't be Burrow. It would honestly be Saquon Barkley. Because the McCaffrey-like impact that he's had on Philly, because they went to Super Bowl without him. They've won games without him. But the light and what I appreciate, because Chris Broussard is big on like the running back is back. The importance of the running back is there. Because Derrick Henry lightened the load for Lamar Jackson this year. Saquon Barkley lightened the load for Jalen Hurts when he was struggling this year. James Cook at times lightened the load for Josh Allen. You can go on. Kyron Williams having like 10 straight games with a touchdown lightens the load for Matthew Stafford in his older age. Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones. It goes on. B. John Robinson for Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. It goes on. Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery, both for Jared Goff. So like you can go on and on and on throughout the entire league, and you see the impact that running backs have. And no one, I guess, for this season, especially this season, epitomizes that more than Saquon Barkley. I wish he would have gotten the record because this would honestly be the greatest running back season of all time. Terrell Davis got 2,000 yards with the chip. But if you break the record and get the chip, that doubles, that stacks on everything that Terrell Davis did and adds more to it because he broke the record. I'm looking for him to have that like we talked about it way back 2 weeks ago. Wild card matchups about moments. About moments. I'm looking for Saquon Barkley to close this chapter because even God forbid, knock on wood, he don't play a lick of football similar to this season ever again in his life. He will remember, and everyone will remember this season as the Saquon Barkley year. Because one, he was the one that ended the dynasty or the three-peat, and he had the greatest running back season of all time. You said anytime touchdown, he might have a 50-yard touchdown to start the game. Philly does not turn over the ball, to their credit. Kansas City lives off turnovers, short fields, and field goals. Because even against Buffalo, they weren't the best in the red zone. So they can manage the clock with Saquon, make plays with two number one receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Man, listen. And as a New Yorker, it's fuck Philly. 100%. But I got frat bros who are in Philly. So for the love of the frat, and because I do not want the dynasty to happen, or the dynasty is already happening. I don't want the three-peat to happen. I'm going with Philly. I'm going with Philly. It doesn't matter. It don't matter, man. They got to get it done. They got to get it done, man. They got to get it done, man.
I got nothing else, man. I mean, without giving out my answer for my bet, that's a fantastic way to end the show. I'll reiterate, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, play out a regular season, you build your notoriety. Playoffs is where you build your legend. Well said, Shabazz. We're going to keep emphasizing that message, especially next week. No show tomorrow. We don't care about the Pro Bowl. Fuck the Pro Bowl. Apparently, players. Drake May is a Pro Bowler for some reason.
Lamar opted out.
I know, but why the fuck Drake May?
Russell Wilson's a Pro Bowler.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, videos coming down the pike. What does the teams that didn't make the Super Bowl, what can they do to try to make the Super Bowl next year or get back to relevance? Saints. But it is what it is, man. The season's come and gone. We got big life events happening for both of us. It's great. We got life, liberty, pursuit of happiness type shit. The four F's and the V, man. The four F's and the V. Faith, food, family, but most importantly, football is coming to an end next week, man. Elku, you're a real one for hanging out with us, man. Always, man. Appreciate you. You're a loyal man. You're a loyal fan. Hopefully, you telling friends to tell their friends. We're going to preview the Super Bowl, the last game of the season next Wednesday, and then recap the Super Bowl as the last show of 2025. Well, 2024, 2025 season. Man, again, videos coming down the pike soon about off-season content. We're trying to make sure we're still out here. Thank you, Elku. Go Philly, I guess, for now. You'll hear my official pick next week. And close us out, man. Close us out, man. You was late, so you got close out.
It's been a great season, but we got one game left, so it ain't over yet. We got one game left, God damn it. We here, man. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, tell a friend to tell a friend. Live your life in the 4 F's and the V, which is faith, family, food, football, and
vindication.
Have a good Wednesday without us. Have a good week. See you guys next Wednesday where we recap we predict the last game of this season, which has been this has been one of the seasons for the ages. A lot of Triple Crown, almost breaking records, a lot of shit happened. Transformative seasons for a lot of people, rookies included. Everyone getting love. It's great, and unfortunately, there's one game left. I wish it was forever, but These players they're human too. They got lives to live. So enjoy their vacation. Cancun on 3. 1, 2, 3, Cancun. And we'll see you guys on next Wednesday. Tomorrow I'll be playing COD because I have not touched COD in like 2 weeks. So that's my plan. That is my plan. I'm playing COD tomorrow. So drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Tell. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, Girl Scouts.